Here we go on 7.5 of Valerius Maximus. We've got something, and also a represented condition. So this is an example here on the campus where a lot of voting and stuff happens. To the datives, look like to those present participants, those who are entering this ambitious way or road, you might want to say, ad sustendos. This looks like a gerund. To bear this or sustain it, things when they are parum prosperous, when they are leastly prosperous. Eventus, how do I get rid of that thing? Oh, now it's gone. An eventus, so when the outcome is leastly prosperous in the comatorium where they do the voting, this will instruct them or make it very useful. So that they're more forteous, more braver in bearing this when things don't turn out the way. Because something is put there before the eyes of the most clarissimus men, before the eyes of the most famous men, when these people, their propositions to be voted for or on a campaign has been repulsed, so they've lost. So they're not with less spay, not with less hope. They seek honours. Now we have ita. So they will seek it with a more prudent decision going on in their mind. So the next time they try to win office, they'll be more wise. And they should remember, memorint qui, that is not nefarious, something's not nefarious or sinful or bad, when it's denied to one person by everyone, when often a single person, it's faz to resist. It's very good or legally wise, or in the sight of the gods, it's good for a single person to resist the will of all of them when he's led to this sort of decision. Scientes, knowing that even what they're not able to impetrare, what they're not able to get with grace or favour, the favour of the people, they're able to quire, they ought to be able to get with patienter, which is patience. So it's just telling them to have some long-suffering patience and to get a bit more wise when they run again. So that's the preface or the initial bit. So this should be now examples. 751. Q alias turbero, something by Fabius Maximus, regardless. He was asked by this, an Apulum, he's having a feast for the people. Looks like in the name of P. Africanus, his patrua, his paternal uncle, he was asked that he should sterneret. So that's what you use for when you're putting making the bed or making a table or putting a blanket on a horse or sternerating the roads. So they should lay out a triclinium. This is like a dining table or dining room sort of situation. Punic lectuloses, they usually lie down when they're eating, so these are like benches or beddings or couches or something. Punic beddings. He stravated with pelibusses, these are like the pelts or the skins of Haydenus, these are young goats, and vessels of silver. Instead of vessels of silver, he expositored. He placed out Samian ones by these people, proper noun. Of which the deformity of the matter, the ugliness of the matter, thus offended homines, man. So that when Alioquin, when otherwise he was haberited, he's considered to be a vir egregius, a bit of an outstanding man. As a candidate, he went into the campus, remember this is all about the campus with the voting, of the praetorian election, the comites praetoris, relying on his avo, his grandfather or whatever it is, L. Paulus, and his avunculo, that's his maternal uncle, P. Africanus. So he went down and he had a bit of reputation from his family. He was repulsed. That's a female past passive. He was repelled and then he aberrated. He went away stigmated or notatus. He was marked all this because he was stingy and used Samian utensils instead of silver ones. Namut privata. For as a privately, they always probabanted, approved of self-continentience, which is a restraint, but thus it was in public or publicly habitat. It was considered especially great care in things of splendour or of extravagance. Quod cocirca, it's like idio. For this reason, or for the reason put before us, the city is not wasn't because of just the number of one party that did embarrass them, but all of them believing that since he had Yakawisi, he laid down with these skins, basically, the skins of goats. Vinda Vigata, this was justification for these votes. Ruborum's red, so they're like red-faced or embarrassed over this apulai, over this feast, and so that they took their vengeance with the votes or made a point out of it. 752. P. Autem Scipio Nascia. So it has a story about P. Scipio Nascia, Togate. It's like when you're a private citizen. He was a lumen very clarissime and a very bright light of the power of being a private citizen, who, as a consul, he indixated war. He brought in war to Jugurtha. What else has he done? Who, when the mother Iderian from the lands of the Phrygians came to our altars, so it must be a religious figure, and our focuses, which is their hearths or fireplaces. This mother was migrating from Phrygia to Rome, I'm guessing. He received it with his sanctissimus hands, very holy hands, or religiously observant, who through many and pestiferous seditions, trouble-bringing seditions, he oppressed by the robor, the strength of his authority, who was a principe, who was a leader, the Senate through aliquot enos. Aliquot doesn't decline, so it's through several years the Senate gloriated about him. They gloriored, boasted, and were happy with him. When he was an adolescent, he was pederating. He was seeking the curule, adol curulum, whatever it is, and the rustical works of a certain person's hands. So it must have been a farmer had come in, and his hand was geratum, it was hard in that way. In the way of a candidate running for office, he apprehended this guy's hand tenaciously. For the sake of a joke, he interrogated him, or he asked him, was he solitus esset? Was he usually, or was he accustomed to walk with his hands? I'm guessing this isn't going to go down well. Quod dictum, which saying was acceptum, received by those standing around, and it manavited, it dripped out or went out to the people ad populum, and it atulated, it had brought the cause of the repulsion of Scipio's candidacy. For all were rustica tribes, rural tribes, and the poverty of themselves, they were present participating, they were eudicanting, they were thinking that this was some sort of exprobatum, this was some sort of insult, and RM's anger towards them because of this contumelia, another insulting word. So this refinement of urbanatem usually means good manners and you're sophisticated, and so this strength, this touch, this wittiness of his touched on as a insult. Okay, so we'll make the Stringo, the Daily Dictionary. Censure, criticise, satire, draw a sword, stood the Stringo. Grazing, that's one of its main meanings. Scour the bowels, that's a bit odd, don't know that one. Touching lightly, yeah, the Stringo does that. It's also using for scraping, stripping clothes, stripping, removing by cutting. So we're dealing with the top translation there. Anyway, so therefore, our civitas, our community, our city, whatever it is, the ingenia, the basically the mores or the nature of our noble youth, in revoking this, in chewing it out and keeping them from insolence, made great and useful citizens. It fecketed, it made them, and the not in suffering when it comes to matters of the honours of on the social ladder. Blah blah blah. added the weight of authority, which was owed, keeping them from the scurris, which is being a bit of a low life sort of thing. That'll do for the day.